Thank you for joining For Our Special Kids, where we openly and honestly discuss the magic and the mess of raising a child with special needs. We are thrilled to have you here and hope this time provides you with some wonder and wisdom. I'm your host, Jennifer Lansing. Let's get started. Well, this is a late episode launch, but I am telling you, it's somewhat apropos. I am in the Centurion Lounge in Denver. We just spent a beautiful 10 days in the Alps with friends, and Teal had 2 lessons with an adaptive ski instructor, and it was amazing. So if there's ever a question about whether you can travel and still give your child the experiences that you know they have at home, I can tell you it can happen, and I'm super excited about that. But it's apropos because it takes a lot of work to do this podcast. Truthfully, I love it. I adore it. It's given me so many opportunities, and I have a love letter written to you because this is the first anniversary of For Our Special Kids. So if you can hear background sound, it's because I'm not at home, but I am just so honored and excited to say happy birthday to us. Happy 1-year anniversary to us. On April 8th of 2022, we launched For Our Special Kids, and 52 episodes later, we are still kicking, sometimes a bit more aggressively kicking than others, but we are still here, and I am honored that you listen. I'm honored that you spend time with me every week. I'm honored that you send me comments and reviews, and that you send me people that you think would be good for interviews. It makes a huge difference in my world, and it makes it significantly easier. No joke. It makes it significantly easier. It's hard. It's hard to come up with topics every week for a conversation. So I really appreciate it. But I'm going to do something different this week. And it's because I wrote a love letter to you. I know, like cue the cutesy, lovey-dovey, kissy face music. But I wrote a love letter to you, the listeners, because I love you. I love you for tuning in each week, for supporting me, for celebrating me and Teal, and even tolerating me and my emotions. I love you for letting me get real with you and cry. I've gotten emotional on so many interviews, and it says a lot that I don't get messages from you like grow up and stop crying about the little things. So for that, I'm very grateful. I love you all for opening my eyes and my heart to so many incredible experiences. I have learned, oh goodness, so many things. I've learned about autism and the journey both parents and children take from diagnosis all through adulthood. Rupert Isaacson in episodes 27 and 28. And also Lexi, our first Meet Amazing Mom in episode 8. And our first Meet Amazing Dad, Kelly, in episode 23. And most recently, the journey that Kate took us on in her book, Forever Boy, in episode 45. So I thoroughly just, goodness, I've learned so much. I just didn't know that the experience of autism was so vast. And I think I look now at everyone, like as we travel. So we've just been in London and Geneva and the French Alps and Beaujolais and Alpe d'Huez and all sorts of places. And I see people differently. And I see people differently partly because of Teal. So we all know that having a child with special needs changes the way we see the world. It also changes the way we see people and how people interact within this world. But as a result of those interviews, I see everyone differently now. I see kindness differently. The amazing kindness that still really exists in this world, that people approach Teal and celebrate her and clap when she's walking, because she's walking all around now. And yet she's not walking like a typical child. Her gait is not a typical gait, an easy walking gait. And people celebrate her and they wait for her. And, the few people that just like try to push by her, try to get around her, I see them differently now too. I see them with kinder eyes because obviously they haven't experienced someone like Teal in their life. And when we get a chance to experience these children and these adults in our life, it just changes our perspective and it brings us more kindness. So I am beyond thankful for all of the interviews that I've done that have completely opened my eyes. I've read so many books this year specifically for this interview. I've read Rupert's books, The Horse Boy and The Long Ride Home, Christine Ramos's book, A Journey into Being, which really opened my eyes to the connection we can have with our unborn child. Sharon Drakeber's book, Out of My Mind, completely shifted the way I talk with people, and Teal's school. It empowered me to think differently about how our children are educated and what their experiences are. And I found myself seeing things through my daughter's eyes. So I highly recommend those books. I'm currently reading Free Spirited by Suzanne Falter, and hopefully I'll have an interview for you guys ready in late April or early May. Don't miss that one because really, you guys, it's so cool. Her daughter's name, yeah, it's Teal. So cool. So Free Spirited, if you want to read that book, go ahead and get it. I think it's on Audible and Kindle, etc. But check that book out and you guys can send me questions because I'll be interviewing her sometime in April. I have reached out and connected to so many incredible people over the past year. I mean, it's just one more thing I've learned is that with the podcast, it's like my excuse. I feel really comfortable reaching out to pretty much anyone now. I was talking to Kristen about Intuition Talks podcast about that. Like I just reach out now. I reach out and say, hey, I think you're great. I think you have an incredible experience. I would really love you to be on the podcast. And it gives me this excuse to reach out to people. I love it. I'm actually in the process of getting a head doctor. Well, I'm sad to say I reached out, had a great conversation with the head doctor of UC Davis. He runs the Mind Institute there. And the PR department currently has said no. They will not approve an interview with us. I'm very sad about that because his research is about basically how family dynamics and communication develop and within a child. And, so many of us have nonverbal or verbalish children. And I thought it would be so cool to read his articles and then interview him about the processes and things that we can do as parents to better understand our children and to better encourage them and support them in their world. So keep your fingers crossed. Maybe someone at UC Davis can influence that, or the PR department will change their mind. I'm really wanted to talk with him. So keep your fingers crossed. Okay. And he also runs the Mind Institute. Are you kidding me? If you have not looked up the Mind Institute at UC Davis in California, please do. They are doing phenomenal things. They also just recently launched this program where they're now allowing intellectually disabled and physically disabled young adults to actually enroll and work through and get a 4-year degree. It's phenomenal what they're doing. So I so hope that we get a chance to bring him on because it's just a cool thing. And I'm also bringing on a surgeon that helped Teal in 2022. So hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll be talking with him. He basically created SPML surgery, which is selective percutaneous myofascial lengthening, and it helped get Teal to a place of walking. So really excited about that. He's a fantastic gentleman, Dr. Nuzzo. And we'll be bringing on Sylvia Shordyke again to look at how a child walks and basically the building blocks that we must have in place or they must have in place to help. One of the things that Sylvia taught me from just the very beginning of working with her is before walking, we had to teach Teal how to fall. Like, isn't that cool? I never thought about that. If a child doesn't actually know how to fall, then we can't really teach them how to walk. So we're going to talk about that, and that's super exciting. In 2023, in this next year, Teal and I and Alex are also planning a week in the Bahamas with another amazing mom that I interviewed, Tanya. She and her husband and Benjamin are taking a trip to the Bahamas to go with us and to work with craniosacral specialists and dolphins. Teal has actually received dolphin assisted therapy in the past, along with amazing CST workers and practitioners. And it was a wonderful experience for our entire family. It was mind blowing. Actually, the first session that we had with the practitioners down there, I found myself giving birth to my child. So you guys all know, right? Like, a lot of us had non-typical births to have our non-typical children. So this non-typical birth meant that I didn't get to experience labor. I didn't get to experience contractions. I didn't get to experience that moment where they put your baby on you. And you see all of these pictures and all of these videos of this gorgeous little baby child being put on your chest, and you see the mom crying and just kind of forgetting about the pain of labor. I didn't have that. And so many of you didn't have that experience. And I grieve it. I grieve it. I need to do some work actually on that, but I grieve it. And one of the things, the first session that I had down there in the Bahamas with the craniosacral specialists, we reenacted that. We didn't intend to, but all of a sudden I started having spasms in my stomach or like in my body. I started like, that feeling. I had those experiences, and all of a sudden Teal like started moving very weird. She was rolling on the table and she was getting into a fetal position and then push. It was it wasn't strange. It was beautiful and magical and incredible. And all of a sudden I looked at the practitioner and I connected with her, and I realized what was happening. I realized that I was doing that for our emotional benefit. And so I'm not kidding you. They took her and she cried. She burst out crying, and then they put her right on my chest, and I just started sobbing, and it was the most beautiful experience. And so we're going back there. So excited. We're going back there, and we're actually hoping to interview some families that are down there. I'm taking all the podcast gear, and the founders of the program are going to speak with me and the parents and children, hopefully, and adults too can receive therapy. So we'll talk to some of those individuals who are receiving therapy about their journey. But I'm also really excited because we're hoping to have a few interviews that chronicle Teal's changes during the week, and just have little snippets of interviews where we can listen to them about what they're seeing and what they're feeling. So stay tuned for that. One major focus for this year is to begin talking more about the mess that we live in with our children. So I do believe it's magical. You hear me talk about that a lot. This is a magical road to be on with our very extraordinary, special children. But I know it's also messy, and it's hard, and it's extremely frustrating and tiring to be on this path. I'd like to talk more with you all about that and interview more people to celebrate that mess and what it takes on a daily basis to not only get by, but to hopefully thrive. To thrive. Annette Moreau has the organization, Annette Moreau Consulting, that she talks about thriving. And I realized that we have to learn, or I specifically have to learn, how to thrive in this mess. So I hope to share tips and tricks that can make our lives easier, things that we can each do. I think we all do things unconsciously that make our lives smoother. And I don't think we share it, ways to incorporate more fun into our life or more laughter. I think talking honestly about the things that cause our hearts to hurt gives us the freedom to then openly and honestly talk about those things that can ease that hurt. So, with that, we will be continuing our Meet Amazing series and What's It Like series because I love those interviews and I think we all get lots of great information. But those interviews, I think, will also be focusing a little bit more on like, hey, what are you actually doing through the mess? I saw a stat recently and it said that the stress of a special needs parent is equivalent to that of a combat soldier. Yeah. Okay. Let's just take that in. Special needs parenting stress is equivalent to that of a combat soldier. So if that's the case, which I'll say at times I do really feel that stressed, then what am I fighting for? Like, what am I going to combat for? Like, what am I going to battle for? Is it just a better life for Teal? Or am I fighting for a better life that is better for all of us? Do I fight for families to feel more included? And can I raise a consciousness of humanity so that each of us is treated equally? I mean, can I lift my head and confidently say that I made a difference in this world by the work I'm doing and the words I'm spreading? So I just really want us to think as we go into this next year, what are we fighting for? Is it just us fighting for our children? And what is the purpose of fighting? I mean, really, I actually have a hard time thinking about fighting as well, because it means we're pushing against something. And whenever you push against something, I feel like that thing pushes back. So maybe it's not that we have to fight together. Maybe it's that we have to hold our hands and lift our heads up and look into this world together and inspire people to think differently about who they are and what this world is and how they can interact with it. So I really hope that we can focus more on what we are inspiring for, like whose life can we make different, not just our own child, but how can we influence this world in a positive way? So what else can you expect for our special kids this year? We are going to be doing more community Zooms or lives. I'm not sure. We've got to figure that out. I think it may be a live on, I don't know. I'm so technologically not there, but anyways, so I'm hoping to do more coming together and learning and laughing together. I want to create more of a community. I've said that a lot and it's not something that I'm good at, but I want you all to feel like you're a part of a community, and I want you to feel like you are part of this world and that you're influencing this world here in the podcast. So, by the way, I'm sitting in this booth and my daughter Teal just walked by. It's so awesome. She didn't even see me. It's so cute. I love it. So hopefully we'll be doing more lives and bringing people on there for you to engage with and learn from. I'll be posting more newsletters. So if you haven't signed up for that, please go to the website, www.forspecialkids.com, and sign up. I'm looking to do more reels, and a lot of it is to give you more insight into our life. And that includes the mess. As I was thinking about this, I was laughing the other day at the complete, total, destructive disaster that was my kitchen. There were dishes and food and papers and school projects and wine glasses and everything everywhere. It was horrific. And I almost just started a reel. This was right before we left for Europe, and the house was just there was clothes, clean clothes, dirty clothes, piles of stuff everywhere. And I almost started a live to just share the non-perfect world that we live in Tahoe. in hopes of just giving you a break, giving you that moment or that freedom to take a deep breath and know that we are all in this shit show together. I'm hoping to just show that a little bit more, to be vulnerable and to be honest about the disaster that is this life. I watch reels sometimes, and if people are too perfect, it almost makes me not want to watch them. Like if you have too much makeup on, if your house looks too beautiful, I'm like, I can't even relate to you. I have no idea what life you live. So, anywho, I'm just hoping to give you a little bit more insight into that so that maybe you can take a deep breath and also give yourself a break. I really, really, really am hoping to do more speaking engagements this year. So if you want to learn more about that, I'm working on jenniferlansink.com so that you can ask me to come and chat. I think it's a huge opportunity to spread the word of these amazing children. And I would love to come and talk to anyone that you think I should talk to. So if you know anyone, please send that over. What else? I also wanted to just give a shout out to Jasmine Lee. Her influence in this podcast has been phenomenal. She does all of our social. She completely keeps me on track. She lets me know that, hey, your 1 year anniversary is coming up and you need to do something. She is the one who gives us a theme for the month, sometimes on our socials. So I just really want to give a shout out to Jasmine. She completely keeps me on track. She keeps our branding in line. It's wonderful. So thank you, Jasmine. We also have a new woman working with us, Michelle. She is going to start helping with more of the interviews for me, but then also bringing on new people to the podcast. So I'm super excited about that. And I really also wanted to give a huge, amazing thanks to my husband, Alex. He's an incredible father. He's watching Teal right now as I'm in here doing this recording, and he is so supportive of this. And he tells me when he listens to episodes, he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, and I learned this. And so for all of you that are a part of this community, I just truly thank you. I thank you for helping me every day, helping me think differently about how we can change this world with our voice and how we can provide healing with our words. So if you are struggling at all, please do reach out. Please know that I am here. I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn from you. I'm here to encourage you and inspire you, but also I'm simply here to help you understand that you are not alone. So thank you. It's a very long-winded love letter to you, but all of you who listen on a weekly basis or who pass this information on, for all of you who send this podcast on to someone else that it might change their world, to all of you who rate us and love us, to all of you who send me comments about how our interviews have shifted people's worlds, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to everyone that has been a part of this program. And I look so forward to next year and and I'm all emotional, sorry, and introducing a new end of episode question. We have an idea, but if you have an idea, you can certainly send that over to us. So we'll have a new end of episode question that we're going to ask our interviewees. Yeah. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you had a good Easter, and we will be back into our normal interviews on Monday of next week. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you found 1 or 2 meaningful nuggets of information to make your day better. If you think there's value in what we do, please take a moment to tell another friend, family member, or a caregiver. We'd love to hear from you at forourspecialkids@gmail.com. You can send in a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like to learn more about, or if you'd like us to highlight a certain person, please send that information to us. It makes our show so much better and so much more valuable for you. Our Facebook and Instagram handle is For Our Special Kids. And finally, remember to witness the wonder and the wisdom within yourself and others. Until next time.